You might be thinking, we already had an A340 in Flight Simulator. Why do I need the ToLiss one? Well, this video is going to compare and contrast the Aerosoft ToLiss A340-600 Pro and the Inibuilds A340-300. I've tried to break up the topics as follows: the look of the aircraft, the feel of the aircraft, the sounds, performance, the EFB, GSX integration, Acars and CPDLC, realism, and lastly, the price. We're also going to throw in the animations in there, which a lot of people do like to see as well. So without further ado, let's get into it, guys. We're going to start off with the ToLiss A340-600 Pro. Let's take a closer look at the aircraft fuselage here. You can see the pitot tubes are modeled, but more importantly, you can see the rivets, the dirt, the grime. If we go to the bottom of the fuselage, you also can see the dirt, grime. You can see it's a kind of an older aircraft, and you can change this in the EFB as well, the age of the airplane. So dirt around the whole fuselage looks nice. On the leading edge slats, you can also tell the aircraft's been used and abused over the years. Maybe that slat's been changed out and some dents have been ironed out as well through the years. We're now in the wheel well of the A340-600, and nothing too spectacular, but it does the job, looking pretty good. Again, you got that dirt and grime on the side as well. Wheels look great too. Now looking at the Inibuilds, you can tell that the fuselage is pretty clean. The engine modeling is pretty decent looking, and everything looks quite well. I will say the Inibuilds has a tendency to look a little crisper on the textures. Now Inibuilds does get the engine rotating better with frame gen. You can see there's less of that cutting in and out and blurriness that the ToLiss had in their engines. Looking at the wheel well, a little bit more definition, a little bit higher textures. You can see the actual hydraulic lines and all that, and the tires look a bit better on the Inibuilds as well. This one could have went either way, but in my opinion, the dirt and grime really seals it for ToLiss. They win this category. However, Inibuilds does have higher resolution, crisper textures on the exterior. Moving on to interior cockpit textures / colors. Now this is the ToLiss interior flight deck textures. I believe they got the shapes, everything quite well from what I can see in different pictures. The colors look really good, and if you zoom in on things, you can also see the dirt and grime as well. Where I think Inibuilds excels, however, is again the crispness of the texture. There's something about the Inibuilds that just has a pop to it. The textures come off the screen, in my opinion, and on my screen a little bit better than the ToLiss does. Not to say the ToLiss ones are bad, it just seems like the Inibuilds has higher resolution. However, for cockpit textures, this one's a tie. In my opinion, both did a very good job at recreating the flight deck of the A340. Inibuilds had sharper, crisper textures. ToLiss had a much better blue color to their Airbus, in my opinion. So far, ToLiss is in the lead, but upcoming are the sounds. We're going to go from 50% N1 to flex, and then full toga. From the passenger view first. Now let's take a look at the Inibuilds. the exterior and passenger sounds, it goes to ToLiss, not because they just sound better, but it's also because as you move the camera, the sounds change better, I think. Now for the interior engine sounds, both offer the EFB feature to change sounds on the fly, by the way, as well. For the interior flight deck sounds on the engines, honestly, both engines sound okay to me. They're nothing spectacular, but I'm going to go with a tie for this one as well. They are different engines. Both are pretty loud in their own right, but also just, overpowering. So you choose the one you like the best. Next is performance. Undoubtedly, the ToLiss Aerosoft is hands down way better on performance than Inibuilds. The Inibuilds does have a very high VRAM usage for the exact same settings that you guys are seeing on screen. You will sometimes get the GPU exceeds resources message with these exact same settings. So if you have that problem, try turning ray trace shadows off or reducing texture resolution to low. You won't really tell a big difference in the flight deck anyways. Next up, we compare the EFBs. The next one is the EFB. A lot of people love a great electronic flight bag, and ToLiss has an amazing one with SimBrief integration and all sorts of great stuff. However, the settings on the bottom are what I'm truly most impressed with. You have situations you can load, which are default put in there by ToLiss, RNAV approach, engine fail, so on. You have configuration of the airplane. You can control how much dirt's on the airplane, how old it is, all sorts of different stuff like that. So the EFB is fantastic. Not only can you import SimBrief weights, fuel it, open doors, and all sorts of other stuff, it also comes with failures, maintenance, sound, replay built in, autosave, joystick functions, throttle calibration, and many, many more. Fantastic EFB and interactive checklist as well. Now, this is the Inibuilds EFB, and honestly, they're very quite comparable. They all do the same basic things. It has autosave, it has failures, it has throttle calibration. What's just missing is you cannot do the quick replay, which is very good for content creators, or if you want to just replay your entire flight and watch it back. For now, it's the only one with GSX integration. It also doesn't have an easy way to adjust your joystick sensitivities. You'd have to do that through I believe maybe the FMS or just through Microsoft settings themselves, but in the ToLiss, you can change the joystick dead zones right on the fly. But the EFBs are quite comparable. The EFB features, though, has to go to ToLiss. It does everything the Inibuilds does with more features, but Inibuilds does have a solid EFB to offer. Acars and CPDLC next. Acars stands for Aircraft Communications Addressing and Reporting System, and CPDLC stands for Controller Pilot Data Link Communication. The Acars is used in real life to initiate the flight plan, grab weather, request ATC clearance, and CPDLC is mainly used in flight sims on the long oceanic flights. You can get your updated clearance. CPDLC will keep updating ATC also with your position en route over the ocean. You can also text back and forth between other aircraft as well. The ToLiss, Acars, and CPDLC is a little lacking on release. The Inibuilds has much more in-depth Acars and CPDLC, and it also works very well with Beyond ATC, Say Intentions, and I believe VATSIM as well. But for this category, Inibuilds takes it. The next category is realism. Realism is one of the most difficult categories to rank, as I do not fly the A340-600 nor 300. I do fly the CRJ-900, so I can give my opinions on kind of my experience in flight sims and my real-life experience and how it compares. However, what I can say, the ToLiss A340-600 has a long list of failures that you can decide to fail on yourself. both of which, however, do include a random system failure and a maintenance section as well. Also, if we come back to the ToLiss, you'll see the circuit breakers are modeled and do all work. In the Inibuilds, that is not the case. The next thing in realism is flight model. Both to me feel very, very good. You can tell they're a fly-by-wire aircraft, and you can tell the 300 is a pretty beefy plane, but the 600 feels very, very heavy as well. Only thing with the 600 I find is with auto brakes applied, the nose does smash down on the landing, so you really have to hold it off. And you'll really feel the flare in the 600 as well, more than the 300. In terms of flight model, I don't have the real life experience to compare them. They feel really good both to me. However, in terms of realism, we're going to give it to ToLiss because ToLiss has a lot more failures, a lot more systems, and it's one of those aircraft you can just tell there's so much going on behind the scenes. Animation. Now, to me, animation must include some Wingflex, gear animation, that sort of thing. This is the ToLiss A340 on takeoff. And this is the Inibuilds. Do keep in mind the ToLiss has a Wingflex slider in the EFB. However, I'm kind of torn on this one. Just on Wingflex alone, the ToLiss has a nice gradual Wingflex as the aircraft accelerates, the wings start to bend, whereas the Inibuilds kind of stays neutral until you really start to pull back on the stick. So I think, from my opinion, the ToLiss wins in that. However, when you go ahead and zoom in on the ToLiss with the Wingflex at the strongest, it does this kind of wibble wobble thing. Now, I've never been on a 340, but I've been on a lot of airplanes that I haven't really seen that. Now, actively pitching down, the wings will bend a little bit, and then actively pitching up, they bend as well, just like the Inibuilds. I think I'm at a tie for the Wingflex animations, as both of them are really good and also can need some improvements in some areas. I think I like the flying Inibuilds Wingflex better. As you pitch up and pitch down, it's a lot more smooth than the wibble wobbling. But on takeoff, I like the ToLiss. So for the purposes of Wingflex, I'm going to go for a tie on this one as well, as I can't decide which one I like better. There's great things about the ToLiss, great things about the Inibuilds, but there's also negatives on both as well. Okay, last but not least, the price. Okay, so here on the Aerosoft store, there's actually a sale going on, but the real price after the sale will be $70 USD for the Pro version of the Aerosoft, and then on the Inibuilds store, 60 USD, 52 euros. It's regular price. So ultimately, guys, it's a $10 difference between the two. If you guys are a big A340 fan, you love your long-haul aircraft, honestly, you should just get both, as the A340-600 is a different variant of the A340. It's a much more powerful version, whereas the A340-300 will give you that nice old running joke of 4 APUs for an engine. That's meaning it's underpowered. So different flight model, different way they fly. However, if you had to choose one, I personally would go with the ToLiss A340. Now, don't get me wrong, the Inibuilds A340 is still a great product and I do enjoy it, but if it's a $10 difference between the two, ToLiss just offers you more features and a higher fidelity flight simulation of the A340. Not only does it just do that, the performance is fantastic as well, so if you're lacking on the PC side of things, this airplane will just run a lot better for you. Ultimately, it's up to you. Both aircraft are fantastic. Inibuilds offers higher resolution textures and a little bit more animations in terms of the engine vortex cone with certain moisture conditions and such. However, it does hurt on performance and a little bit less on the system sides than ToLiss as well. Hopefully this video has been very helpful to you to decide on which aircraft to buy. I hope you honestly get both, as both are really fun to fly and they do slightly different things in terms of their flight model and the way they feel. Thank you guys so much for all the continued support. Be sure to let me know in the comments which one you picked up, either both Inibuilds or the ToLiss. And we can't wait for FS Expo in June. I'll see you guys there, June 12th. Hopefully we can all meet up there. Also, last thing, the Inibuilds has slightly better night lighting in my opinion in the flight deck as well, if that's any consolation. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.